All right, everyone, here in Harambe, we say Twande, which means let's go. Jumbo, everyone, my name is Colleen. I'll be your safari guide today on our journey through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. For your safety, please remain seated at all times, keeping those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck. That means we're not going to play two games out there, musical chairs or hot potato. If you have little ones with you, please don't pass them around the seats to see the animals. Well, our journey begins in the Little Ituri Forest. It's home to nature's shyest creatures. They rely on their camouflage and will use whatever they can find, but I can already see our first few animal spottings over on the left. I see two antelopes, the bongo and the greater kudu. The bongo is a little bit further back. They have a chestnut coat, and the greater kudu has a gray coat. There's also the saddle-billed stork, a black and white bird. They can grow to be about 5 feet tall, and they have a 9-foot wingspan. That's about the width of the canopy above your heads. There are so many animals around us right now, because over on the right you also have the okapi and the yellow-backed duiker. That's the smaller animal. Now the word duiker means diver in Afrikaans. When they're scared, the hairs on their back stand up completely straight. They will dive into bushes and then make a high-pitched screaming sound. Now for those two antelope, the kudu and the bongo, only the kudus out of the two have horns. Both male and female bongos have horns, helps them push through bushes. The okapi there is not an antelope. Many believe they're related to the zebra. It does have its party pants on, but they are the only known living relative of the giraffe due to their super long tongues and similar skeletal structure. Those tongues are so long it helps them to grab their food, lick their eyes, and clean out their ears, which they do every once in a while. Discovered in 1901, many believe them to be a mythical creature. They're also known as the African unicorn. Both bongo and okapi are known as the ghost of the forest because of how well they camouflage. Their stripes reflect off the sun, helps them to blend in better with their surroundings. And the okapis camouflage so well that scientists don't have an accurate number of the okapi population. We're gonna head over to the Safi River next. Just keep your eyes peeled for any air bubbles because the Nile hippopotamus can hold their breath for about 8 minutes. Hippos spend around 16 hours a day in the water, and that's because they don't have any sweat glands. It's how they stay cool. They'll even sleep there, but they don't have to wake up every 8 minutes to take a deep breath. Their body has a natural reflex that will push just their nose above the surface. They're sound asleep the entire time. As we go down this little hill here, over on the right, we'll see some pink-backed pelicans. A group of them is called a pod. They are the smallest of the pelican species, weighing around 9 to 15 pounds. Males are usually bigger. Despite their size, they have that same 7 to 9 foot wingspan as the storks, and those wings are powerful. They can remain in flight for 24 consecutive hours. Over on the left, we'll see a group of hippos that is called a float. Hippos can swim, but a lot of times they'll choose not to. They're not the best of swimmers, so they will either walk or run along the bottom of the river. Male hippos weigh around 5,500 pounds. The females are about 3,100, and babies weigh between 60 and 100 pounds when they're born. Average is around 85. We saw a few hippos back there with half of their head above the surface. When they do that, they're able to hear what's happening above and below them at the same time. That's because their jawbones conduct sound waves. This bridge up ahead says caution. It makes a lot of sense because next to us is the Nile crocodile. Crocodile can grow between 10 to 20 feet long. The average is around 12 to 13. And they have a bite that is about 2,000 pounds per square inch, which is bone crushing. At the same time, their jaws can be very gentle. They'll put their eggs in their mouth to help them hatch. Their saliva helps to soften their shells. Crocodiles are very protective of their young. If there's danger nearby and the babies are still small enough, they'll put them inside their mouth or what's called a throat pouch to keep them safe. And if you ever see a crocodile with their mouth open, that's normal. They're trying to regulate their body temperatures. We're entering a different ecosystem. It's home to all different types of plants and trees, like the baobab tree, which we'll see on the right. It looks upside down because it doesn't have any leaves for about 9 months and can hold about 30,000 gallons of water. All different animals will use the tree to their advantage during dry seasons and while migrating, which is why it's also known as the tree of life. Here on the Savannah, it's home to the giraffe, zebra, wildebeest, and collie cattle, all different types of antelope, and so many more. It looks like at the bottom of the hill here, we'll see the Hartman's Mountain zebra. Zebras are closely related to the horse and donkey. Lots of similarities in the horse, especially in their face and in their mane. They are the smaller zebra though, especially if you compare them to the Grevy zebra. Their patterns are also a little bit thinner, except towards the back they become thicker. And then just behind this one tree, I do see the tallest land animal in the world, the giraffe. We'll get a good look at the giraffe as we go around and see a few across. Now both giraffe and zebra, they have something in common. Both animals will sleep standing, but the giraffe way more often than the zebra. That's because it makes them a little vulnerable to sit down and then get back up. It takes them a little bit of time to do so. And for the zebra to get a deep sleep, they do have to sit down or lay down. Over on the left, hanging out in their den, you'll see the African wild dogs, also known as the painted dogs. Looks like someone finger painted them. They have no relation to the hyena. Instead, they are very, very loosely related to the domesticated dogs, but they're nothing like our dogs at home. Our dogs have 5 toes, they only have 4, and they're one of the most successful hunters in the world, with an average success rate around 85%. Up ahead, we'll see a few more animals. We'll see the wildebeest and the sable antelope. We'll also see another giraffe. The sables, they are further towards the back at the base of the hill. They are the symbol or the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, and they earn that title because whenever in a fight or flight situation, they are more likely to fight and stand up for themselves, just like we stand up for these animals in helping to protect them and their land. Now, wildebeest, they travel in herds of up to 1.5 million. That makes them the second largest densely populated herd in the world, second to humans. While migrating, they will kick up so much dust that dust cloud can be seen from the International Space Station. Now this is the Maasai giraffe, and we can tell based on their patterns, they are a little jagged like puzzle pieces. For others, they're boxy or square. The Maasai giraffe is one of the largest of their species. It really depends on the giraffe itself. They can grow between 14 to 18 feet tall, but some have been known to reach 20 feet. That's the same length as the crocodile. Babies are about 6 feet tall when they're born, and they do give birth standing up, so it is a 6-foot drop into the world. Now these very tall animals have a pretty big heart. It's a little bit bigger than a basketball and weighs around 25 to 30 pounds. They also have a blood pressure that is twice as high as a human's. Over on the right, we'll see the Ankole cattle with these massive horns that are not nearly as heavy as they look. They weigh around 15 to 20 pounds max, and inside they're almost hollow. They're made of a honeycomb-like structure. Blood will circulate through them to keep them cool. That's what I call their built-in air conditioning. The zebras also have something similar. There's an extra piece of skin or a fold that hangs down on their neck. It's called a dewlap. This is only for the Hartman's Mountain zebra. Blood will circulate through it. It will inflate and deflate, and that's how they stay cool. But on days like today where it is pretty cool outside, animals will kind of huddle together for body heat, but sometimes they'll just eat more to help them stay warm. There's a few more giraffe up ahead here. I also see one of the smaller antelopes up ahead. The springbok, they're only 2 to 3 feet tall.
Oh my God.
Again, the giraffe is related to the okapi. They have those super long prehensile tongues, helps them to grab their food. Those tongues can grow to be about 18 inches long. That's the average length of an adult arm. Also in the trees there, that is the eland, one of the largest antelopes in the world. There are 2 different types of elands. The giant and the common eland, that was the common. They weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. It does depend on if it's male or female. That was a male. We can tell based on the size, but also the color of their coat. As they get older, their coat turns a grayish blue. The little springboks are just back there. You might have seen them. They have a kind of s'mores colors to their coat. They're only 2 to 3 feet tall, so they're one of the smaller animals. We're going to explore other parts of the savannah next, see if we can spot the animal knocking down these trees. Over on the right, we'll see the African elephants. One of the largest of their species, big difference in size and in the size and shape of their ears. And then over on the left, just by the bushes there, you might catch a glimpse of the mandrills. They could be a little hard to see because they're just towards the back. We know a famous mandrill by the name of Rafiki. They're the largest monkeys in the world. They also have the most vibrant colors of any monkey. But when a male mandrill ever loses status, the colors on his face will fade. Now, out of the two animals that we saw, the elephants are the ones that would knock down trees for food. Sometimes they'll knock them down just to get them out of their way. They eat over 300 pounds of vegetation a day based on their size, and some can grow to weigh around 12,000 pounds. But those very large animals are scared of something very small, and those are bees. Well, years ago, scientists, farmers, and researchers from all reserves, especially this one, came together when they realized elephants were being harmed for destroying crops and property. So they created the conservation project called the Elephants and Bees Project. They built a beehive fence using top bar beehives, put them all the way around farms so when elephants got too close to it or bumped into it, the bees would wake up and chase the 12,000-pound animals away from crops. It's like a scarecrow for them, but it's a safe practice. Eventually they learn to find food somewhere else. So again, it protects the elephants. It also helps out farmers. They get to keep their crops and they get a little bit of honey. And then it helps to save the bees. It looks like we're still in elephant territory. To the right, those are tusk marks. They will dig at the red clay and eat it. That's okay. It acts like a mineral for them, like you and I can take vitamins. So males usually live by themselves or with a group of other males called a bachelor herd. The herd or parade is made up of the adult females as well as those younger ones. You could call it the family group. Within that group there's a matriarch. It's usually led by the oldest and largest female in the herd. Now elephants, they are a keystone species, which means they do affect the ecosystem and the environment around them. So while migrating, sometimes they'll pick up the dirt around them and it creates different watering holes, not only beneficial to them, but other animals that might take the same migration path that they do. You can kind of see them towards the baobab tree back there. Now they do make noises at a level that we can't hear. They'll also use their powerful trunks as another form of communication. A wave of the trunk can be interpreted as a simple greeting. They'll even use those trunks to take regular dirt and mud baths. It acts as a natural sunblock for them. So they'll either put it on their back, face, legs, and sometimes younger ones might roll in the mud. Helps them to stay cool. And I do say younger ones, they might do it a little more often, and that's because when babies are first born, they can't control their trunks. A little too short, they're still growing, and they'll get food from their mothers. This is the bachelor group.
Yeah, they're like...
Alright, look over there at the elephants. Look, Eliza.
You see that one elephant right there has its ears out? Sometimes when they do that and they're kind of playing with each other, it makes themselves seem larger than the other elephant. Over on the left, we'll see the greater flamingo. When they hatch, they're actually gray and will turn pink after eating brine shrimp. There's beta carotene in the shrimp, and that's what helps them turn that very pretty pink color. Take a closer look and you might spot a few younger flamingos. They're not much smaller, but they do have some gray patches to them. They lay one egg per nesting season, and then it takes about 30 days or so for that egg to hatch, and then it takes almost 2 years for them to reach that pink color. We're We're entering the outskirts of the savannah, and I see some mud pits up ahead. I'm wondering if there are some white rhinoceros wandering around. I think I actually do see one. Let's see, unless I see a rock. Oh yeah, just past the bushes here. We'll get a good look in just a moment. They're towards the back there. So rhinos, they need sunscreen just like elephants. They will roll around in the mud. It keeps them cool, and they apply a little bit of an insect repellent. Also over on the right, you might see an ostrich walking around. Largest bird in the world, not the right, the left. Largest bird in the world that can't fly. They are completely terrestrial because they are too heavy to fly. But they'll still use their wings to help them balance and steer as they run. They can run about 40 miles an hour, 55 in the wild.
Look at your window.
Now rhinos, they are my absolute favorite. So cute. They are, white rhinos are social, more social than other rhinos. You'll typically find them in groups up to 15 called the crash. We are officially entering big cat territory, so be on the lookout for any cheetahs, the fastest animal on land. They can reach speeds of up to 70, but they can go to 60 in about 3 seconds. Their claws are always out. It helps them to run that fast, and it gives them lots of traction. Their tail helps too. It acts as a rudder. But they are sprinters, not long distance runners. Their bodies can only maintain that speed for the length of about 2 football fields before they start to overheat.
Leopard, cheetahs. He just went behind the bushes. Oh yeah.
And if you compare them to other cats like tigers and lions, out of the big cat family, cheetahs are the smallest. We're approaching the Copies. It's an island of rocks that you can call Pride Rock, where lions will hang out to see their prey. They're nocturnal and sleep around 16 to 20 hours a day. They're active early in the morning, but more at night. That's when they would go hunting. Females go out and the males stay back with the pride. I see some more rhinos up ahead. So the rhinos are going to be around the hill here. There's also a little bonsabat back there. They have a really cool survival story I'll share with you in just a bit. Looks like might be mom and baby on the hill there. And I do see a few, or at least one of the lions over here, ahead here. There's a small pride of lions that call the reserve their home. Please sit down. There's 2 females and 1 male. In the wild, it could be a lot bigger, anywhere between 20 to 30, but that sometimes includes those little cubs. Once the males are old enough, they will either break off and start dominance in other prides or create their own group, kind of like elephants.
Where'd he go? He's walking the other way. So pretty.
Over on the left, I see lots of burrows. There could be another Lion King star around. The warthogs, they do look like hairy rocks, so you really have to scan around. They are the, oh, there's the lions actually roaring right now. Or at least one did for a second. One big roar just happened, so never mind. Their roar doesn't actually sound like it would in the movies. To make it sound really big, they did pair it with a tiger roar.
That's a rhino.
So again, keep an eye out for some warthogs. There are some animals that really enjoy the rain, but others not so much. Over on the right, we're going to pass some ostrich eggs. They weigh about 3 pounds, equal 2 dozen chicken eggs, and their shells are very strong. They can withstand over 400 pounds of pressure. Our next and final stop is the Magadi Glen. This is where the warden's post is, and the wardens here will take care of the animals. They will keep them healthy and safe. But the wardens need a little bit of company, so there are Nigerian dwarf goats. They'll eat the weeds other animals don't, and they're used as dairy goats. For their milk, it is very high in protein and packed with nutrients. Now most, if not all of these goats are actually adults. Some might have a little bit of growing to do, but not much. They're just really small and mature very quickly. What helps them to mature is they engage in horseplay and also helps them to assert dominance within the group. But the purpose of this post is to promote conservation, also coexistence between humans and animals. The goats help with that. They're friendly, they're playful, and they make great companions for the wardens. So this road is taking us back to the village, but I want to leave you with one final story. The survival story of the Bontebok species. About 100 years ago, one farmer noticed there were only 17 Bontebok remaining in the wild. They were being poached for their beautiful coats because when they're younger, they give off a purplish tint to them. So this farmer accidentally put them all in a fenced-in yard, and what saved them from extinction is the fact that they can't jump. So they couldn't jump over the fence to escape, but years later they were sent to all different reserves and national parks so they could thrive. There are now close to 3,000 in the world and still growing, so it goes to show that even one person can make a big difference for the animals. And as our journey comes to an end, it's important to remember that while we did see beautiful animals out there, they need our help. And doing the simplest of things, such as reduce, reuse, and recycle, can help protect these animals on reserves and in the wild. So go out and share the stories you have learned today. You never know, you can inspire someone else to make a big difference. As we just heard, sometimes all it takes is one person. Now we are going to dock in just a moment.